Good morning, everyone. You're all very welcome in this house. We are very happy to be here today for the Florida Spiritist Federation Assembly, annual assembly. And we welcome everybody that is here online. And let's start the day today with a prayer. Let's pray together, thanking for everything that we have, elevating our thoughts to Dear God, thank you for the opportunities that we all have in our lives every single day. And this opportunity today of being here to learn a little bit more about your laws, about the Spiritist movement. May we stay strong, united. May we learn and feel your love from all of us. Thanking this house, Dr. Bezerra de Menezes, all the spirits that are working with us this morning and every single day. Thank you, and let's our hearts united. Listen, pray, and learn in this beautiful sunny day. And with that said, we thank God once again, inviting everybody for this day with us. Thank you. So be it. And now we're gonna have Christopher that is gonna introduce our dear friend that is here today for um, the presentation that we're gonna be sharing with everybody. Thank you all.
Good morning. Welcome. So today we have the pleasure to be receiving in our house Tania Schwartz. She's the president of the United States Spiritist Federation, dedicated in the organization of its national Spiritist events and different roles promoting the dissemination of Spiritism in the United States. Tania is also the founder and president of Kardec Spiritist Group of Austin in the capital of Texas. She has worked in many different areas within the Spiritist centers in Brazil, France, and the United States. So let's welcome Tania Schwartz. Please, Tania.
Hello, everyone. Very nice to be here. Really a pleasure. It's an honor that I be invited. And I'll tell you a secret has been in my heart to be here in this assembly one day. So here I am. And we're going to be talking about a subject that it's key. It's about us, the Spiritist workers. And everything and all the responsibilities that we carry, and how wonderful it is the work that is there for us to be done. We are, well, let me get this here. We know that there is a lot always to do, right? We keep doing the work, we keep involving new workers to come, and still the Spiritist movement in the US is relatively new, so it's still a lot else ahead of us. We're going to be talking a little bit of the history, which maybe most of you already know, but that's okay, right? It's very important to remember that the spirit, when we talk about being relatively new, talk about the 20s, 1920s, when our friends from, Hispanic friends, the immigration of the Hispanic friends here start bringing the first spiritists to the US. They started forming the small groups. And right after, it kept going. The news that we have about this Hispanic, mostly in Spanish, right? The groups were from their relatives of founders of those who founded the groups. In the mid 60s, we got the visit that was very blessed, right, of Chico Xavier and Valdo Vieira. There was a milestone also for Spiritism in the US. And so the work continued, right? And got a little more fired up. And then a few years later, we got Divaldo Franco that came and started, and we know up to these days how much he is present here in the US, supporting the groups, helping, giving guidance, not only the talks and conferences, and especially here in Florida, we know how he has been very present in our lives. And so Divaldo was definitely a big uh, help, a big support, and keeps always being, and will always be with his books and everything. So by the 80s, we had a big influx of Brazilians coming, and with the knowledge of Spiritism as well. So that's the beginning of increasing the movement in the US, right? So the the thinking in a bigger uh, manner, right? Not only the continuing the work that our Hispanic friends started, and we are all together, like we are here, right, together. And when we look around, we see here the ones we don't see that are at home, of course, but we are all in this arena trying to continue this work that was started. And it's such an honor to be at Dr. Bezerra de Menezes' group, right? That is was founded by the person we're going to honor today. We are talking about Mr. or Senor Benjamin Rodriguez, who not only started the group, but also created with other friends the Spiritist Federation of Florida. What a vision, right? Already, not only think of those small groups, already knowing that we needed to get together to make this movement grow and having more opportunities for us to spread the good news for more people. So he did that, and he was one of the representatives uh, of the US with 8 different countries, more countries, that went and founded the International Spiritist Council. Well, think about it, right? Not only we're doing now small groups, not only we're doing the state, right? Because that was the first one and still the strongest, the biggest one in the US, right? The Florida Federation. But also he goes there with other countries and help this foundation of the International Council. That was a big milestone. And that was in 92. In 97, there was the foundation of the United States Spiritist, at the time Council, and the name was changed to Federation later on. That's how we are known at this time. And uh, not only the United States, but also the other countries that founded the International Council got inspired and saw the need of having the national federations. So nowadays, the International Spiritist Council has more than 20 countries as members, plus the observers. So that keeps growing, right? Internationally and nationally as well. Um, so What is the movement? We talk about the Spiritist movement, right? A movement, in the sense, is when people get together with the same ideals to spread these ideals, to join the possibilities of working together. What you see there are some photos of General Assembly of the United States Spiritist Federation a few years ago, that was in person. Right now, after the pandemic, we start doing virtually, but doesn't replace to be here together. It's great to be in person. The movement then is this collective effort to study, to practice, and to disseminate the teachings of Spiritism. And again, so the Spiritist movement is when we are working together, when we centers and federations, and we are able to work together to make it grow. Right? Very good. So when we look around here, we see that each one of us, or a few of us, represent a Spiritist center that is part of the Federation of Florida. So if we think of the movement of spirit, let's think about a machine, as if each center was this gear, and the gears by themselves, they do some, but when they are connected, they make, with the force and the movement, they make it grow, they make it harmonious into what we want to share and want to, the purpose that we have for the Spiritist movement. It needs to be harmonious, because otherwise it doesn't work. Have you seen a machine, if the gears are not aligned, right? They don't go anywhere, they don't function. So when we talk about the Spiritist workers, we are talking about the need of this harmony. And we'll talk a little later how we get this harmony. And that's the biggest challenge for us all, right? In terms of working in, I guess, in everywhere when there are groups of people, the biggest challenge is the people, right? The work sometimes is the easy part. And sometimes we end up getting too involved in the work itself and forget to think of the people around. And that's the key today that we're going to, the message that we want to take home with us. So the harmony is definitely what we need for this machine to work. So we talked about people, 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 people. And we Spiritists deal with not only incarnated people, but discarnated people. Oh boy, that gets even more challenging. The influences, good and bad, that we all have because of ourselves, where we are, our evolution, and the degree is different for everyone. So that's the biggest challenge. But and people also have different needs, expectations, concerns, desires, etc., etc. So when they come to the Spirit Center, they're looking for different things. They are looking for help, consolation. Some want to study, not too many sometimes, right? Some want to help, and so on and so forth. We have definitely different expectations and different needs to be achieved in the Spiritist Center. And when that is the case and we are paying attention, we are able to sort how to reach people in that manner. When we are able to be harmonious, when we're able to think of that gear, not only to the spirit, throughout the spiritist workers, but also the people that come uh, looking for something that we needed to really listen to, we are able to have connections, and the connections are not only between within the center, but the connections that we can make in the movement, throughout the movement. So I thought that was kind of nice to share with you these photos with this collaboration. You know who is there, right? Marcelo Net was in our group in Austin, Texas this week, talking about Jesus and family. And, this collaboration, and today I'm here. So that's how it goes. It's the collaboration that we all need in order to feel, because for us, it's a lot how we feel. We can learn Spiritism, we can teach Spiritism, we can preach. We shouldn't, but we can. Uh, but those are books, those are words, those are important, but it's not all. If we just stick to that, we cannot really reach those people that are searching us, coming to the Spiritist Center. And it doesn't stay there. We know as Spiritist workers that fraternal assistance happens all the time if we are listening, if you are, paying attention in places where sometimes on the street, sometimes you just stop and somebody comes talk to you. I'm always aware when somebody comes and go, gosh, help me out here so I can have the right words for that person, right? I'm not necessarily talking about spiritism, but being there for them. So that's the kind of worker that we want to be. Uh, we do volunteer. We dedicate our time, our efforts. I shared with you some photos because this is our assembly last time. No, half of it. The others are in a different screen from people from all over the US, right? And we do have this opportunity of dedicating our time and our effort. And we do that. But again, the the important thing is that we don't stay and stop there. We at home and here present, we are in the roles of leadership, roles that sometimes we wonder, wow, right? We think how important it is, not because of the title or because of the this position that we are in, but how we are multiplying these efforts to others. How many people in our spirit centers are being trained or being prepared to be the continuation of the work? We need that. I was talking outside about that. Replaceable, we need to be. And as spiritist workers, more and more working with love, but also with discipline and knowing what we need to do, but also to involve people in their own responsibilities. It's very easy sometimes to be in a position that we centralize what we are doing. Very easy. Oh, I can do it. I'll do it, right? But delegate, train is the challenge because, yeah, people are different, they'll do different ways. But who says that needs to be my way? So I thought that it is for all of us in this position how important it is to be spreading spiritism, practicing spiritism, but also letting other people be in that position. All workers are important, every work in the house. And sometimes we need to have that eye to the person who has been coming to our group, and they're ready to do something. They are ready to help. And sometimes we are so focused on the work to be done that we don't see that happening. So, Spiritist workers are the ones who want to dedicate their time and in any capacity, because we are the heart of the movement. And I like this image because the heart is vital for the life of the body. The same way that Spiritist workers are vital for the Spiritist movement. Without the workers, there is no movement, right? So it doesn't matter. We're not perfect. Nobody is, right? And who says that things need to be done in a certain way or my way? Again, I'll repeat that because the biggest problem that we see in every center that I talk to, every board, everybody, every work, is when is working with people and egos and personalities, right? So the moment that I realize that it's important to be the pacifier, right? The one who will help uh, resolve the conflicts instead of putting more wood in the fire, as we say, right? We start being the real Spiritist workers. Sometimes we think we need to, be able to talk like I'm talking right now. This is just a job. The important thing is what is going on and how we make our groups to function in a way that everybody has a voice. Not that everybody will make decisions because we wouldn't get anywhere, but they have to feel that they're listened. I still like this image because the heart pumps blood to nourish and sustain each part of the body. And we, Spiritist workers, with our dedication and commitment, we bring the energy, the understand, and compassion if we're able to do what we talked before. The same way that the heart is in service to the whole body. Have you thought about it? Right? It goes all the way around. It takes care of everything in our body. If that doesn't work well, we're in trouble. And the same way, we selflessly serve the collective cause of Spiritism. And this is huge. This is definitely what keeps the Spiritist movement pulsating. So that's why the heart is for me, it's a huge symbol. It's very key for us to imagine the importance because we just keep going. Sometimes I have to go to the center, I have to do this, I have to do that. We get lost in the activities or the administration. And I'm generalizing, okay? Don't take it personally because you might say, nah, I don't do that. That's perfect. But we definitely need to wonder. We need to question ourselves if we are doing that consciously with this awareness or if we're just doing it. Because we are a team from the discarnate world and the incarnate. We definitely work together only the influences, but the moment that we are having issues in the matter, we're having issues with the company that we are attracting, and we are giving the possibility for the spirits that are not very happy for this spiritist movement to progress and be successful. We open doors to destroy the work. So it is definitely a work of fraternal love. And what I like about the heart is that not only symbolizes vitality, but it symbolizes love, right? It's the same, it's the heart. So now we're going to be thinking how important it is for us to really work with love in our hearts. That's what Jesus taught us. That's how he worked. That's how he, with his apostles, who were not perfect, right? And had their own issues, but he had the compassion, the love. He and the confidence, because that the trust, right? We need to trust each other that we are there for each other. And this love is what will feed us. We definitely needed to keep going. How many times we get to the Spiritist Center, we are not well, we are sad, we are having some troubles, and the people around us, that community, the love that they cherish to us, that's what keep us going and keep our strength, right? So that's the foundation for the Spiritist work, love. What do we learn? Spiritists love one another. This is the first teaching. Educate yourselves. This is the second. And let's pay attention at this. So, yeah, we educate ourselves, we study, but are we loving? Is that something that is part of our everyday thoughts? Or I'm going to do a talk and yeah, I need to study 10 books and prepare the slideshow. And of course, this is important. That's how people will know about Spiritism. But the moment that I am there, or I have the opportunity of doing some work that requires my compassion, my love, my listening, is that what I'm doing? Or I'm just worried about that talk or about, the lights are on, the computer is working. These are all important, but this does not sustain. That's the house, not the home. And that doesn't, if there is no love, there's no way that we can keep up. Oh, okay. Listen to this that Dr. Bezerra de Menezes left for us. We can even disagree on ideas, as this is natural and healthy. But what we must not lose is the spirit of fraternity that should unite us today and always. Had you seen that before? Yeah. So, do we need to agree on everything? Did the apostles agree on everything? Think about it, right? Because we have this illusion that love, fraternal love in our center will be what? Everybody in peace with him. But this is the Spiritist center. How come I cannot just, everything be in peace? How come there are so many conflicts? Or you don't have that in your centers? No conflicts, no problem. Everybody's, looking down, right? Now it does happen. But we are learning. That's what the question 298 of the Spirit's book will say, that union exists, but in different degrees, right? We can try to be united and still have disagreements, because that's where we are. Our degrees of understanding, compassion, and everything else, all those virtues that we are trying to achieve, they're still in different degrees. So when we get together and the ideas are different, the understanding is different, many times we have difficulties. Sometimes it's because of the ideas, and other times even for nothing, right? Some people just have some, that person says something I immediately don't like. Have you had that experience before? Right? But we know that we are with the people that we need to be, and we are learning from each other, learning this unconditional love that, will take a few more centuries, probably, or more. But that's the exercise, that's the practice. So it's not necessarily we will love each other in that sense that we would like right now. And some people be more difficult to me, and I will be difficult to that person. But if we have the respect of the other person, if I look at the other person as my brother and sister in God, right? It sounds very cliche to say that, right? But that's what it is. The moment that we look at each other as immortal spirits, and therefore we are just spirits, we don't know more or less, we are learning. We can have more compassion this way. We can, if the person is difficult for me and I go, okay, and sometimes we already even know the comment or the criticism or, but the moment that I listen, I'm able to at least evaluate what the person is bringing instead of immediately saying no. And sometimes it's, the case, but that's okay. Important thing is how we deal with things. Because again, this love is worthwhile. This kind of fraternal love that we talk about in the Spiritist work is what we have the example that Jesus gave us. Very, disciplined, very, not necessarily just, oh, my darling. That's not the kind of love we're talking about. Because behind those words, sometimes it's God knows what, right? What it is that openness that we are talking. And when we have fraternal love in a Spiritist center, and there'll be several things here that will look familiar. It's not new. All that I'm saying is not new. It's just reminders for all of us. When we have love in our center, we live by example. That's in at home, in the professional work, everywhere. We are the example. If we are not, then we cause more problems than solutions. When we have the fraternal love, we attract higher vibrations. Remember, we talked about what kind of connections we have in a group that is always fighting, or in a group that is always trying to do the best in the sense of relationship. It's very different, the kind of vibration there. We promote cooperation instead of competition. In other words, it's not Tania that's speaking, right? Oh, it's my talk, right? No, this is these words, these teachings. We studied, we gathered, we are sharing. It's the, representing the institution. Okay, of course, I'm a person, so we introduce ourselves so you know who I am. But that's how we don't have that situation where Oh, it's somebody's talk. Oh, I don't like that person, so I'm not going to listen. Or I'm better than you. My, that. No, if we hear those things, it's just like that's not the goal. The goal is that are you having difficulties to prepare your talk? Let's talk. Let's share. Oh, I did this talk before. It's very different. I don't know if you had that experience of somebody just no, 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 I don't share that's mine. Yeah, I don't share. I don't share lesson plans for the for the kids. I created it. So, what's wrong? It happens. Very good. We resolve conflicts with compassion. If there is love, we encourage perseverance in the mission. Well, have we had the experience of listening to people wanting to give up? Ah, tired of it. Too much work. I have no more energy to do this kind of work, right? But if the person is going through a phase or a problem, and we are there to embrace, to talk, go to a fraternal assistance, all right? But the fraternal assistance is not just the one that is scheduled. It's just like you see somebody not doing well, you go and talk. And that person can be encouraged to persevere. And we know how important this is for all of us. We're not spiritist workers, and it's hard to explain sometimes to people that are not in the same, ideals. I have some friends or that sometimes they say, "Don't you get tired of, are you going to the spiritist room again? Are you traveling to do what?" Right? So that's fine because it's a different, and they're doing their own things, and some of them doing wonderful and even better things. That's okay. But the thing is, we know how important it is for us, how we feel about this work. So when somebody is there, not very sure, like shaky, I won't say faith, but at least the idea of doing the work. I don't want this anymore. And people, it happens. And sometimes it's not of our control, of course, but it is at least an opportunity for us to try to help each other. There's more. You thought that was done. It facilitates the spiritual growth and transformation. If we are doing the job with the purpose of becoming a better person, we'll achieve that. The work itself won't do it. I mean, we know that the inner transformation, I mean, the work helps us. If we are paying attention and listening to ourselves, I normally say, even to be doing the work, we need to question ourselves. Why am I choosing to do it? Is it because I want to be famous? I want to have a title? Or I want to, sometimes we say, no, it's not that. And maybe not. But is it because I really, really have that in me to share and love others? Because sometimes the pride is there. And I'm saying sometimes because, be nice, right? But each one, that's between us and God. There's nobody in the middle. No confession. It is something that at night when you go to sleep and you had that day, you go, okay, boy, I did this, this, and that. And it fills our hearts. When it fills our hearts with love, and again, I'm using the word over and over again, but that's that pleasure because we're working with Jesus and for Jesus, and we have that in us. Or If it doesn't, if I'm just, oh, okay, I'm just tired, oh, I can't do this, and I'm complaining, we need to pay attention. What are the real feelings behind any work, anything we do? And again, the unity, right? The purpose in action. We keep together. We encourage service and selflessness when we work with love. It creates a welcome environment for newcomers. Oh boy, that's a big one. In a group, you know, you know that when sometimes you enter in some group and then you feel that energy, right? Imagine for somebody coming for the first time. We need to be aware of that because it's felt. You can say whatever you want. How wonderful the group is, how many activities we have available, this and that. But when people feel embraced, they stay. They want to be there and they want to know more about Spiritism, right? So definitely it's a huge difference. And last one, but not least important, it fulfills the Spiritism mission of universal fraternity. It's that exercise, right? We're working the center, we're working the family on our love. Okay, and when we talk about unification in the Spiritist movement, it's important that we understand that unification does not mean that every single center will be exactly the same size, same activities. There's no expectation. The only expectation is that we follow the teachings by the codification, right? That's a spiritist, center. If there are things there that are not, well, it's something else. That's as simple as that, right? And people complicate things. People want to make changes and add things that they're not spiritist, and that's okay. People can do whatever they want. But unification means, okay, we have this ideal together. Let's be united. Let's collaborate. Let's create this harmonious environment and this collaboration among centers, federations, etc., etc. It's not being the same, it is having the same ideals and follow them, right? When we have this unity, when we are together, we are better equipped. We share resources, like we're talking about, going to each other's house, and you do that in Florida. There are so many spirit centers, right? It's hard for me to do in Texas because I mean, they're so far apart also, right? There are much fewer, in terms of quantity, but also like in Austin, there's one. In Texas, it's huge. So for us to go to each other's house, it takes 2-3 hours. It's not less than that. Oh, San Antonio takes an hour and a half. That's the closest from Austin. But that's how we share. But you also share materials, resources, not only people, but also the experiences. We can have an issue in our center and be able to talk to each other and say, well, have you had that experience before? Right? And that's one thing that we need to reach out to each other. Sometimes we don't know what is going on in somebody else's house, right? Unless their house, that person talks to us. And we together, we can cause a bigger impact in terms of the world. If we are just one center, you know, isolated, we are touching some lives, of course. If we're all together, that number gets bigger. My audience is much bigger. And we are able to do more, including charitable initiatives. And of course, we have a bigger network support not only in terms of work, but also the opportunity of putting in practice these teachings. Almost done. I don't even know what time it is. So I'm here, oh, representing the United States Spiritist Federation, right? Well, what is the United States Spiritist Federation? Oh, everything we talked about, right? Promoting the union of the groups, supporting. We are facilitators. That's how I like to put ourselves. We serve. We serve the Spiritist community the way that is needed. We are there to listen and to help as possible and collaborate. Because I say facilitator because if somebody comes and asks for something, it's not that we will have the resource necessarily, but we know where to find it. We can kind of people in contact. We are not isolated. This country is so big that is nice to know. Nowadays, we have over 100 spiritist centers in the United States. It's not that big, but it's bigger than it was 27 years ago, right? And yeah, if we compare like with Brazil, we have over like 15,000 groups. That's a little different. But still, we have some programs and initiatives, and always open to talk about anything else, like the annual Spiritist Symposium that most of people know me because of the symposium that I'm in charge. I know I organize with tons of volunteers talking about teamwork, right? Every year in a different place. And the symposium is an opportunity if you haven't participated, because it's our only national event uh, that we have, we gather people from all over the US. It's really nice to be there. But we also have, a lot of contents that we add every week. We have our lives programs talking about spiritism since April 2020. We started right then, and we never stopped when we continue, because it gives a lot of people can use, those talks, different people. We have about 70 speakers in the English language that participate. So if that's another thing, we can foster networking. If the groups would like to bring some speakers or need some kind of support, we can do that, like I talked before. The resources. Currently, we have a team of youth educators working together to create lesson plans. We already have in our, it's called FIXI, it's Family, Youth, Children, Spiritist Education, that's the department. And we have the website, we have over 50 lessons now, and we're adding music and other activities for children that people can, any center, have access to. And this is a collaboration of many groups. So when you talk about federation, when we're only 8 in the board of directors, are 8 of us, 8 people. We do teams of work to be able to get things done. Also, we are involved in publications and translations of books in English. We have at the beginning, like 20 years ago or so, we did not. We had about heads full of books in English. Nowadays, and just not us, obviously, there's the Fab Publisher, Leal Publisher, and there is the Spiritist Alliance of Books in New York. But nowadays, there are over 160 titles of books, Spiritist books in English. So if anytime you're interested, know if there is a book available in English, talk to us. And obviously, we represent the Spiritist movement in the US, and we have a lot of participation of people from the US in the International Spiritist Council, doing all kinds of work there, not representing just being there, but working at the international, including the youth. We've had a lot of participation of young people. Our and actually our director of FIXI that I just said, she is Beatriz Lopes from New York, oh, actually Connecticut, and she is in her 20s, so she is young. So we have new generations coming as well. So I guess if nothing else, let's keep the message here about serving, continue serving. We Spiritist workers with love, courage, humility, following and aligned with the message from Spiritism and obviously our messages from Jesus, always. Let's have the pleasure, the sincere pleasure of working with Jesus, right? I sometimes, when something is hard, I think, who is my boss? Whom I'm working? I'm working with and I'm working for, right? It's okay, right? I need to do that because it's good for my evolution. So that's the message. Let's be the heart, talking about hearts, right? We went with heart. Let's be the heart offering love and understanding. Let's check our own hearts, getting to analyze and transforming ourselves. Let's offer our hearts by forgiving and having compassion. And with that said, I thank you for being here, for being in this spiritual journey with me, with the Federation. And I hope that we take this message in our hearts and keep and share. Thank you. Oops. This is not.
Thank you very much, Tania. It was a pleasure to listen to you. It was an incentive to work together, to share this knowledge, this love. Let's all work together. And let's make our prayer to finalize this part of the agenda. And I invite all of us to unite our thoughts, elevating to God, our Creator, to our beloved Jesus, the governor of our loved planet, to Dr. Bezerra de Menezes, to our guardian angels, and all the beneficent spirits that are with us here today, bringing this peace, this love, this fraternity, that we may be strengthened in God's love and continue disseminating our beloved doctrine of spirits, that we can unite all the centers, that we can bring help, that we can bring peace to all brothers and sisters that comes to us. And thanking once again for this opportunity. We ask you, God, we ask you all, our brothers and sisters, to be in peace, to be in love, and to make a better world for all of us. May God be with us today and always, because without you, Lord, we are nothing. Thank you and have a good day.